I am going to try very hard not to break down and bawl like I did last night. I pretty much have just been crying since last night. Oh boy, I wanted to do a video. First of all, thank you, Mr. Samuels, for everything that you put out for everybody. All these years, all the hard work. Whew. Some of his most recent videos were monumental, historic, so educational, just breaking down how we got to this point in families, in relationships. Okay. Anyway, so we owe him a huge debt of gratitude. I personally do, and you guys know that. Now, without bawling and crying to the best of my ability, I really want to get out here some lessons and misconceptions about Mr. Kevin Samuels, okay? Already half the night and this morning, I was up making comments on people's articles and postings that were already slandering his name, telling lies about him, and one of the sites was a Catholic Facebook page that I am a part of. And, I'm not Catholic, but we both believe in Jesus. What's the problem? And I really enjoy most of their posts. They're very nice and they're beautiful. But this one literally had some very terrible, very, very terrible things that they said. And I just was like, I am so disappointed. And to see the comments from supposed women of God in the comment section, celebrating his death, repeating lies, and just saying vile things is so disheartening and very disappointing. And I wrote on there, I am disappointed. I would think that godly people would find out the facts and true information about somebody who just passed away before you go and slander their name and spread lies about them, okay? So maybe we'll start with some of the misconceptions. All right, no, I'm a mess. Okay, let's start with what he really believed in. He wanted men and women to become the best person that they could be, okay? By profession, he was an image consultant. He'd been in sales for years. He reminded me of a lot of the training I got in Herbalife, in personal development, in network marketing. Just brilliant as far as those things go, okay? You learn to read people, which he was a master at. Okay, and his main purpose had been to encourage people to get married, okay, to have children within wedlock, to create a family, and then to keep your family. Create a family and keep your family. This is his most important message of everything that he did, okay? Yeah, some of the things were sensationalized, clickbait, and all this kind of stuff. But if you watched the whole show from beginning to end and the whole interviews from beginning to end, you would see very quickly that he might sound like a stern father, but he cared very deeply and tried to help people. Men and women got the same response and energies were matched, okay? So some of the misconceptions, he's a misogynist and, he hates women. No, most definitely not true. And if you watch, you would see how he was trying to help women. Because if I have watched thousands of hours of these women call into his show over the year plus, it's been over a year now, I would say since 2020 actually. And call after call after call, I don't know if I've maybe seen one woman out of the hundreds of women that have called in that say they'd be just fine with a man that earns the average income of $40,000, $50,000 a year. 99% of these women want a man that makes over six figures. That is a very small percentage of the population, 20% or higher, okay, or less, I should say. All right. So this is where a lot of the conversation came from of, well, are you willing to share? Are you willing to, are you the kind of woman that man is looking for? Because he is so rare. Okay. And so like all these different conversations came out because women demand to not settle, in their words, for an average guy. which is, 80+% of the population. Okay. And there are good men out there, and, they're being overlooked because they don't drive a BMW. Okay. Or they don't have the income that matches their level and all this kind of nonsense. They want the whole package. They want good sex, good looks, fat paycheck, a luxury lifestyle, and all this kind of stuff. Mr. Samuels never made any of that up. That's what the women called in and said. And most of them who had spent, money and have student loan debts, college education, this and that, wanted to be able to stay home after having their first child and not be responsible for the majority of the bills of the home. So it's like, okay, see, women have been living in delusion, thanks feminism, for telling women they could have everything they want all at the same time. And they can wait until they're 30 to the end of their fertility, and then a husband will just be there. You can pick them off a tree. There's so many different things. One of the last videos was leftover women. And in China, they have a thing called Shan Yu. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. And for there, it's 27, because technically that is the decline. That's where the decline becomes sharp of fertility. Okay, so that's where, like spinsters came from and that kind of thing, because it's a thing. And there was even some articles written not that long ago that said if you're 36 and you're not married, you have a higher chance of being in a terrorist attack, God forbid, than to get married. Okay, because that's how rare it is. Okay, and there's so many reasons for that. You're older, you're set in your ways, you're used to being independent, and it's harder to get along with a man. You don't know how to cooperate with a man, and you're all about me, me, me. There's a lot of things that go into it. So he was just trying to tell the women so that they could have a chance to change their frame of mind, look at things differently. And so many of them said, even if they had to share, they would rather share and be somewhere in the rotation than to have an average guy. Isn't that a shame? And he spoke up for the average men all the time. He said they're hardworking, they're good men. Just because they make less money doesn't necessarily mean that they don't ever step out or anything like that. It can be good looking or charming or whatever. But it's like the reality check is insane. And then, speaking of cheating, he showed, like we know, that women cheat at practically the same rate as men do. And if it comes to attention, they have way more male orbiters and men in their DMs trying to get them than the man does. But anyway, all these things are truths that are not talked about. Thank you, feminism, because we live in a gynocentric society, and we don't want to say anything that hurts women's feelings or makes them feel bad. Well, guess what? The way that we've been doing things, there was an article recently that what is it? If it isn't to this point already, it's going there. Over half of women age 30, I'm pretty sure that's what it is now, are single and childless. This is a very bad thing for the continuation of society. Okay. Even Elon Musk talks about it. He said one of the biggest problems we're going to have in our future is actually not having enough people, because all these climate change alarmists and all these people freak out saying, oh no, if you want to save the earth, don't have any children. Idiots. Who is going to keep society running when everybody's old? Who's going to take care of the elderly people? Who's going to keep everything going and keep the economy going? It's very frustrating. I gotta go, guys. I'll be right back.
Hey, sweetheart.